What is up, YouTube? Welcome to another video. Today what we're going to touch base on is tattooing at home for beginners. All of the steps that I would recommend you take if you are wanting to jumpstart your career as a tattoo artist or get in this industry first starting out. I'm going to walk through all the steps that you should be taking in order to get to your dream job. If you're new to the channel, I'm Brandon from Tattooing 101, and make sure you like and subscribe down below so you can keep up to date on all of the new content we make each week. So you first started tattooing, you're trying to figure out exactly the steps that you need to take in order to become a tattoo artist or try to get into a studio for an apprenticeship. Now, there are quite a few steps that you should be taking in order to do this the efficient way and in order to help yourself get to that goal way quicker. Your first step is, can you draw? Do you have the ability to, draw designs, do flash, things like that? That'll be your first goal that you kind of want to hit, and even before you jump onto practicing on fake skins or anything like that. So let's say you first started, you've never really drawn in your life. So what you're going to want to do is grab some flash and just practice drawing. Practice making flow for designs, things like that. And I have quite a few videos up here showing how to draw and how to draw things appropriate for different parts of the body. Now, of course, if you want help with this, if you are first starting out, we do have the Tattooing 101 sketchbook. I'll leave a link down below that you could click on to get that. Now, let's say you've actually had a good background with drawing and you've been in a tattoo shop, either getting tattooed or talking to people there. So you kind of understand where you want to go in this industry and you have a basis of drawing and understanding the flow and everything needed in order to make a good design. So now what you're going to do is start picking out machines. So what machine you want to go with, either traditional or rotary or a pen style machine. All of those things could kind of change the way that you're going with tattooing. Say you choose a pen machine, but it has a really long stroke. It's a direct drive, so it hits really hard. So obviously you're going to be wanting that machine for more like thicker lines, more like color, things like that. You don't want a long stroke for like black and gray and things like that. So depending on the machine that you get, will kind of go with the style that you're wanting to do. If you don't know the style that you're wanting to get into, I recommend a middle ground, a 3.5 millimeter stroke. I highly also recommend the Injecta. It's by far the best machine. I love it as well. I would use it on every single video, but the Cheyenne is just a little bit quieter for audio purposes. So you finally got your machine and you got your inks on the way. I highly recommend dynamic black for your line work, and if you are going to color eventually, I wouldn't even worry about colors at this point of your tattooing journey, so just focus on your black ink to start out. Now what you're going to want to do is practice with line work, so you could print out straight lines, perfect circles, maybe a couple S's, and what you're going to do is get some fake skin. I recommend real skin. Frankenskins have some really great fake skins out there. If you are first starting out, you can start on the cheaper ones, but remember that they are only about 1 millimeter thick. So when it comes to actually tattooing, it can't really benefit you that much after getting used to holding the machine. If you're just trying to get something cheap to see if you want to get into this industry, I recommend trying it out. They are quite cheaper, and you can just get used to holding your machine and get used to, your 3 points of contact, things like that with those skins. But if you're working on line work and getting your depth control right, definitely pick up some real skins or Frankenskins. Awesome. So now you worked through your line work and you're getting pretty good lines. I'm not saying perfect by any means. You could jump on to actual designs. So I'm going to hold up a couple of designs that would be really great for you to start out with. You want to work on something small. I wouldn't go anywhere bigger than a palm-sized tattoo for quite a while in your career, just because you don't want to focus on a ton of different things at once. Focus small, and I promise your journey will get to that goal way faster. Because I'm telling you all the things that I wish I would have done on my journey and how you could kind of skip some of the roadblocks that I had throughout my career. So here are a couple of designs I'd recommend you starting out with. So to first start out, we have the traditional flower. This would be a really great design to start out with. You could type in traditional flash online and just stencil them up and slap them on the fake skins and get really good practice with your line work. Only focus on your line work at this point of your career. And then you have a traditional skull or a reaper and this dagger right here. So daggers are really nice too because you get to focus on your perfect straight lines, practicing with making your stencils so they're absolutely perfect when it comes to the tattooing process. So daggers are a great tattoo to learn on as well. So here are just a couple. Obviously, there's plenty more tattoo ideas out there that you could focus on in order to help you out. So once you get through being able to make perfect line work on all of your fake skins, now what I would recommend is you save them. So when you get through the confidence of making perfect line work, then you could pull them out and start your shading. What this is going to show you is from start to where you got comfortable, you're going to see the progression of your line work. You know, if you put shading in it, it kind of hides some of those areas to where you could have fixed up or made a little bit better. So it doesn't really help you be able to see all of your mistakes and learn. So once you're on your shading, you're going to focus on 3 different shading techniques. Your color packing, you know, inside the skull, you could go into the eyes and focus on completely saturating that area with the black ink. Next will be your traditional style, which is whip shading, my personal favorite. You're going to start by putting your needles into the skin or your mag and just obviously whip shading that out. So you work on that motion, putting it into the skin and just getting a flick method at the end. And then there is the pendulum shading method, to where you kind of go like a pendulum and go back and forth, going into the skin like this and making smooth transitions of shading throughout. So now you're going to go through all the tattoos that you've done, focusing solely on your shading, getting different transitions, being able to go from black into your gray tones, into your skin tones underneath. And this is going to help you a ton. If you are wanting to do color eventually, after this step, you're going to be able to introduce color. But if you try to focus on learning everything at once, what happens is your mind kind of gets jumbled. You're not able to learn the appropriate ways, and it takes way, way longer to learn how to tattoo all 3 steps. That's why I recommend that you focus on one at a time, and you could also see that you're making progress with every single one, which will help your confidence out a lot too. You know, whenever people first start out and just jump into color and trying to do tattoos, eventually they see that their work is just not where they wanted it to be, and then they just give up, saying it's not for them. So doing it this way, I promise it'll help you out a ton, and you won't go through all those questions of, should I be doing this? You know, this is not for me because obviously I can't tattoo correctly. All of those things will be out the door because you could clearly see you're making progress. So now you can finally jump on to color. The colors I use is solid ink. There are a few out there that I would recommend: Solid, Fusion, Eternal. Yeah, those are just my favorites. I've used them very efficiently throughout my career, so I highly recommend those. Now, a couple other points you want to keep in mind when it comes to tattooing at home would be, I highly recommend that you only tattoo fake skins at home. You need a sterile environment and sanitary procedures when it comes to actually tattooing on clients or even tattooing yourself. So if you are first learning, highly recommend that you stick to fake skins until you do have a sterile area that you can tattoo at, because you don't want to mess with people and have problems with bloodborne pathogens, things like that, because it could also put a really bad rep on your career if you are trying to get into a tattoo studio or even open up your own in the future. So this is tattooing for beginners at home. All the steps that I wish I would have taken that would have jump-started my career, and I would have skipped 3 to 4 years of just trying to figure out what I should be doing. I hope this was able to help you out, and as always, if you like this content, make sure you like and subscribe down below so you can keep up to date on the content we make each week. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.